Today we read From Bones to Moans, field notes on tent breach frequency, rock velocity, and female hormonal response in relation to Homo sasquatchus, or Mating Habits of North American Cryptids, Book 1 by E.M. Ashwood. From dinosaur treks to Sasquatch courtship rituals, observer objectivity equals lost. Dr. Lila Rhodes is a brilliant paleontologist with a love for bones, books, and tracking down evidence of long-lost dinosaurs. Unfortunately, she's also saddled with a Brent, her wannabe vlogger boyfriend whose ego is more frustrating than his tent-building skills. When their expedition deep into the forests of the Pacific Northwest in desperate search of potential dinosaur footprints takes a turn toward the strange, Lila discovers a set of tracks that don't belong to any prehistoric creature. They belong to something bigger, hairier, hungrier. What began as a search for fossils of ancient footprints becomes a descent into a moonlit mating ritual older than civilization itself. Rocks are thrown, branches break, tents collapse, and Brent is no match for the towering alpha who has chosen Lila as his mate. Now, armed only with her scientific curiosity and slightly questionable decision-making, Lila finds herself at the mercy of the most legendary cryptid of them all, where she learns firsthand some legends can't be studied from afar. You need to get up close and personal. This is not a regular episode. This is a special, and this fucking starts our Monster March.
Rawr. I do want to say, why have we not done a Bigfoot excursion before?
Right? So spoiler, today we read From Bones to Moans, field notes on tent breach frequency, rock velocity, and female hormonal response in relation to Homo sasquatchus, or Mating Habits of North American Cryptids, Book 1 by E.M. Ashwood. And yes, this was a book about a Sasquatch. And you know what? When we were discussing Monstrous March shit, I was like, okay, so I'm looking through all the different shit, and I'm like,
we picked some weird stuff that we have never done before.
Hold the fuck on.
March.
We've never done a Sasquatch.
We've never done Bigfoot, and next time we're gonna do a spider. Like,
spoiler.
Alien. Yeah, but why
have we never done
Bigfoot? Have a whole wheel of just monsters.
And you know what?
Different monsters
discussed
we've never
it.
done.
We've discussed it. So potentially. I just want to state the way that the field notes throughout this entire book were inserted in here with little footnotes where you could just click it and it like popped up on the bottom. Hysterical.
You could click it?
Yeah.
Oh.
As you're reading,
I was so annoyed with them because I was like, oh, now I got to remember where this fucking one was. Let me swipe over. Let me come back. And
it's a link. You click it and it pops up at the bottom. Do it.
God fucking damn.
Yeah, it pops up right on the bottom.
Because I was just about to say, honestly, I wasn't that into it. It was kind of a cute concept, but like parts of it were really irritating. That's because I'm a dumbass.
That would have made your reading experience so much better, right?
Yes, I'm just stupid. Hold on, I gotta go stir my shit. I'm right here. Hold on.
So yes, as you're reading, there are little numbers, and they're just like the little field note version. So she makes little comments throughout the entire book. It's really cute. So just know, guys, this week Ariel's just having a moment. So the forward was also really cool. It just says that the following material contains content deemed sensitive and potentially destabilizing to public decency, morale, and the fragile male ego. And it gives like the content warning of just sexual content, strong profanity, and male performance deficiencies. And it was really funny. This is also like such a different style of book than I've ever seen. I've never seen like something written like with like the little notes and stuff like specifically like that. And I thought that was cool.
Makes me want to check out other books that she's
written.
I
honestly wanted to write
the
another book in this series.
I already downloaded that one. I don't know what it's about, but I downloaded it. Because it was a quick read and it was
it was really fun. It was very entertaining. But so, yeah, this book opens with Dr. Lila Rhodes. And she is currently at a ranger station. And she's in the process of trying to locate...
Ranger.
Yeah. Locate her footprints with her dumbass boyfriend, Brent. And I'm actually pretty sure she refers to him as her dumbass boyfriend, Brent, a lot.
Okay. First of all, she's looking for dinosaur footprints. So cool beans for her. However, I was really, really, really irritated for like the first at least quarter of this book because why? Why are you with him? Why do you
We
put up with him?
just know we do get an explanation.
And we get some understanding. Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
But it took too long for me because I was so irritated for so long. Not at the book. I just, girl, why?
Yeah.
Girl, why?
It's just because you hate men so much that like we just are at the point
Do
now.
I understand how you get to? Yes, but
Yes.
you know. And I'm glad we got an
It was a really
explanation.
short book,
I
guys.
just wish I had more.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Brent is vlogging everything, and it's quite embarrassing to Lila because she's a scientist and he is just embarrassing the fuck out of her. And honestly, if she could have left him, she would have. But Brent has the truck keys, and she didn't want to hike 20 miles to the coordinates that she needed to go to. And so she kind of had to suck it up, even though she's mortified by her 34-year-old boyfriend's antics. He's 34.
I think that was my biggest thing. Like, they're old enough that
men still act like that at this age.
Oh,
I'm just going to point that out.
For her.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. The park rangers tried to warn them to stick to the fire road until they hit the trail. With the rain, it exposed a lot of new ground, and there has been more like footprints uncovered, and they're very different ones, and they're very big. And Lila so fucking interested into what these fucking tracks are, but
She's
they're
so convinced
that they're dinosaurs.
That there has been dinosaur tracks, but there has not been proof of them in her state.
Yeah,
but she's like, no, it's not possible. I can prove this, and she's so excited and overjoyed to have this opportunity.
But the park rangers kind of
they're recognizing they are dinosaur, or they could be dinosaur tracks, because when the rains moved the rocks have the imprints, and it, you know, she just has to study it.
Yeah, but the ranger is also kind of hinting that they're a little bit different than dinosaur tracks, and Lila, he does hint towards it.
I think she made a big deal about how they were different.
Yeah, she sees different flyers and everything's like around, and she sees like missing pets, Smokey the bear, but then there's also a poster talking about the fact that there's been projectile activity happening to some of the campers. The campers are getting rocks thrown at them. The ranger explains that campers have been saying someone's been throwing rocks and branches, so just be warned, because also there's a full moon coming. Brent, though, fucking excited, because with the new tracks, Sasquatch has to be here. Like, this is what Brent is like. Yes. He's excited to film all of this stuff.
Her dad talked about Bigfoot a lot. And that's kind of what she grew up on, was that the Bigfoot was real and it was a whole big thing. So she has that in her head, but she's a scientist and she's there for the dinosaur tracks.
Yeah, Brent is there for fuck all. And also, I did make a note. He gives me early 20s vibes of his age, but whatever. So they head out, and she's trying to get Brent to help her with gathering up all the fucking camping supplies so they can hike. And I love that in the field notes, she refers to him as a beta male a lot. And it's so funny because Brent so hard wants to be an alpha male.
And he says that to her. She needs an alpha male. She needs him to protect her.
Exactly. And I did make note in here, I guess Ariel should have read them, that there's little numbers throughout each chapter. And when you click on them, it does bring up a little field footnote.
Sit and spin, girl.
Made this... which made this experience so much funnier, because
I didn't know I could click it.
You didn't think that the hyperlink, because
it doesn't tell me. No, it's not colored on mine.
Oh, mine's colored blue because mine's hyperlinked.
Yeah, I would understand if it was blue. I would totally get that.
Oh, because you're not. I'm reading on my Kindle, so I think it says it in my phone.
This is the Kindle.
That's weird.
Let me show you what it looks like on mine, and then maybe you'll understand. Oh, maybe the star's blue.
So maybe just have the number colored or hyperlinked,
yes,
I guess.
I think the number should be.
Yeah. Anyways. But, of course, Brent is not fucking paying attention because he's now so focused on trying to film everything. So Lily gets everything. And as they're walking...
Sorry, babe. Can't carry anything. I have a phone in my hand. My bad.
Dude, he's such a fucking idiot.
I mean, you just don't understand the alpha bro life, man. You don't get it. Gosh, I wish, I wish you had it in you to get it, but like, I got enough for the both of us. It's okay. I got you, girl. I got you.
So as they're walking, Lila starts cataloging like different tracks, and then she hears some knocks going on in the woods. And the sound puts like a sensation of being watched up her spine. Brent, of course, just focused on getting some really cool shots. After about 8 miles, they end up around a riverbed, and there's dozens of tracks there, and she is so intrigued. And Brent, of course, is right there filming being annoying, and then asking her if he can help her with the plaster because she's going to plaster some of these tracks. She wants nothing to do with that.
Last time he did that, it was very bad.
He fucked it up. So instead, he's playing with his drone.
Alpha boy,
Alpha bro?
Alpha boy, bro. Don't need no directions.
No. So instead,
It's not about that life.
not at all. Listen, he's an alpha. Who needs anything else?
I still remember the first time my kid put something together and he's like, I don't need the directions for that. And I literally heard his future wife roll her eyes. I was like, nah, we're going to fix this now.
Yeah. So Brent, though, decides to play with his drone. And because he's an idiot, the drone gets caught on a gust of wind and nosedives right into the river and across some rocks. And now Brent is freaking out and saying, that was $1,000. And Lila doesn't give two shits.
Why'd you bring it?
Because he could have used that money to help her with fucking rent. Rent that
Oh, yeah. Alpha bro
she
don't have no
pays?
job, by the way.
No. And
She takes care of this baby boy's ass.
yeah, and Brent says, you should buy me a new one because they're only out there because she wanted to come look for tracks. Lila says absolutely the fuck
She wanted
not.
to go by herself.
Right?
He insisted on coming with because she can't go without him in the woods. She needs his help.
just a poor
and plus it'd
little
be a good
lady.
opportunity for him.
Yeah, but it's so funny because she's like, absolutely the fuck not. I pay the rent by myself. Buy your own damn drone. Brent, he just stops and just continues to sulk. And now she's back to focusing on documenting everything. And she starts to hear the knocks again. Brent, of course, doesn't notice because he's an idiot. But then a stone comes out of nowhere and like takes her back a little bit because a stone throws. And then she hears more knocks, and the knocks are getting closer, and branches start shifting. And Lila says that they should set up camp before it starts getting dark, like up the hill a little bit, like
Away
into
from the
trees.
river.
Away from the river, yeah. And it's about like 20 yards from where they are. And it's close enough that she could still walk down to the tracks, but far enough that they're not going to have to worry about people passing through the camp. So
Or
she
flooding or
yeah.
being to where everyone else is, where there's obviously things going on.
Right. So she steps back off, and then she looks over into the forest one last time, and she sees something big at the tree line, but then it's gone again. And they go set up camp. Brent decides that he's going to set up the tent all by himself.
Remember, this is a man who doesn't read directions.
And she wants to help him, and he snaps at her and tells her to go find twigs or something. So that's what she ends up doing, just to let this man do whatever the fuck he's going to do. And when she returns, Brent finally set up the tent, but it is not pitched in the greatest area.
And it's not even like a complicated tent. It's like a two-hole.
Yeah. And like he really tries to defend this tent. They use this tent for like Everest and all this other shit. And she goes, not what I asked. No, I don't care. Literally
Regardless
anything
of where
about
they
this.
used it, it's still not assembled correctly.
Right. Like the ground he set it up on is like super uneven and kind of on a slope. And then they argue back and forth because Brent's a fucking idiot. And she's trying to explain like why
The vinyl's inside out, the rain guard's on upside down.
And she's trying to explain to him what's fucked up with it. And he tells her to stop patronizing him. And she snaps back and is like, it says, excuse me? But then the dipshit starts he starts to just film the tent instead.
And then he goes, yeah, I know it looks like that because my girl set it up. She doesn't know what she's doing, but be nice to her, bro.
So then
I don't
Lila's
care who you are, that boy would have been in the river. The book would have been over.
yeah. So Lila decides to just start on dinner instead and asks what Brent brought for food because he had literally
He had the list.
he had the list.
Gave him the list.
So he didn't pack a fire starter, so that's great. And he did a very terrible job packing
Macho men don't need
and
that.
literally preparing them for anything. Turns out this man packed trail mix, beef jerky, a couple protein bars, and a crumpled bag of gummy worms because it's classic camping food. Lila asked what happened to all her MREs, and Brent was like, no. That shit's garbage. This is so much better. Bitch, shut the fuck up. They sit and eat in silence, and then they hear a rock hit the tent. And then they hear a fucking another one come and it hits even harder. And Brent's like, this is not funny. And that whoever's out there, they're not scared. And Lila's like, bitch, really? You're acting pretty goddamn scared right now. But she continues, like, just sit here. And the next stone lands directly into the fire ring. And Brent says he's going to flush him out. And Lila's like, flush who out, you fucking idiot? But, like, more knocks start happening, and it's clear that it's multiples, not just one making the knocking sounds because it's coming in different directions. And
we never got anything from, by the way. I wish we did. But
yeah, I kind of wish we did too. I'm wondering if it'll like kind of continue, like it's kind of like a mystery. I don't know.
I don't think so because the next book isn't about
Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Okay. Who knows? Lila just laughs and says like, I don't think it likes you because all of the rocks are aimed towards Brent.
Or something Brent put together.
Or something.
And Lila has this weird calmness about the whole thing. She feels like she might even know what it is. And I'm guessing because of her history with her dad.
Her dad and everything.
And, all his stories. But she's like...
Also, let's be just happy that Brent is getting knocked down.
Just has a good vibe. Also that.
Yeah. Yeah. So Brent's a little jumpy. And they decide to crawl into the tent. And Brent is convinced everything is fine. It's just giant raccoons, which is insane.
The fire around going, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. He even calls out that, like...
The world burning around
you. Lila's like, so raccoons that only throw rocks at you? Because he's so convinced that they're fucking raccoons. And also, like, the tent you put together, she finds it kind of really funny. And then she hears more knocking a little bit closer, and she swears she hears something underneath it, like a little laugh. Brent decides that maybe they should just go back to the car and sleep there. And Lila reminds him that they are 8 miles from where they parked. So no, they're not going to walk there in the dark over wet rock
to cross
near a river. Like, they're going to stay there. It's a shelter, and he's just being a little bit of a bitch.
Being a whiny bitch.
The first knock of the night comes about, I think it's 10 o'clock, because I think it's...
Things settle down a little bit, and then it starts up again.
According to Lila's watch. And Brent, again, is convinced that it's just raccoons. And Brent finally just says, stay here, keep the fire, because they're just, like, in this camp. And he's going to go try to explore this shit. Lila just says, don't go far, because if you trip and break something, I'm going to have to drag you out of here.
And I'm not doing that.
And I mean, she knew she had the satellite phone, and she probably could have just called the ranger station about the knocks in general.
Second, they had people throwing rocks at him.
But she just didn't, and she didn't know why she didn't. Maybe, like, she just didn't want them to come and take her away from potentially the greatest scientific discovery of her entire career. But whatever. Brent comes back. Because the stones come flying out of the trees, and he just starts freaking out. It's so funny, the rock situation. It's just great.
I wish we got more.
Yeah.
Why the rocks? Why are they from the river? Why do we say, like, I don't know. I wish.
Yeah. It's the mystery of the Sasquatch, Ariel. Okay. We don't actually all know about Sasquatch. So
I understand this was a very short book, but I wish I had a little bit more on that end.
Yeah. Brent runs back into the tent, and then the outer shell of the tent, like, has a sudden slap to it as well. And then it sounds like nails are scraping along the material. And Brent's definitely freaking out. And honestly, I also would have been really thrown off if this was happening. But Brent's like, I just really don't like this, which gives me snapshots to...
I don't know. If he was freaking out that much, I probably would have been like Lila and just enjoying the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Lila tells him to shush. Because she can sense something kind of like out of the
Like,
range
we're
of
gonna
her
die,
vision.
we're gonna die. I'm just gonna enjoy you fucking having a meltdown.
Yeah, and the next rock that comes doesn't aim for the tent. It lands a foot to Brent's left. It's so funny that the rocks are targeting Brent the whole time. And Brent, again, still freaking the fuck out. And he just says, whoever you are, whatever you are, like, you win. Lila says, if we leave, it might chase us. Because he's like, we need to leave. And she goes, we can't do that. Brent's like, what do you mean, chase us? And then another knock happens, this time so close. Brent's consistent, like, vibe throughout this whole thing is freak the fuck out. And he's asking, like, what the fuck? Like, but she doesn't have any idea. Well, she kind of does, but like she's not answering. And she looks into the distance because she sees little lights. They're not lights, by the way. They're
I can go.
eyeballs. They're eyes because they blink. Brent tells her
Gives Cheshire Cat vibes.
Yes. Brent tells her to say something to it, and she goes, I don't think it wants me to say anything. Brent thinks she's crazy. But then the eyes blink some more, and then they disappear. And more knocks come by, like, throughout the night, but they come a lot less over time. And then Brent's like, okay, let's go to bed. Lila's not ready to go, but after a little back and forth, she does cave, and then she almost falls asleep until a tug comes and her eyes fly open, and Brent's like, what the fuck is that? Something's tugging at their tent, kind of, it feels like they're testing the strength of the fabric. Brent is whispering, like, it's right fucking there. And she goes, I know. And Brent's like, do something. And Lila's like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Like, outside, like, a stick scratches across the tent as if, like, trying to draw them out. Brent's asking it to go away. Lila's saying, we're not here to hurt you. That she just wants to see the footprints. And that they'll go, like, afterwards. They'll leave. And whatever's outside kind of, like... stops. Yeah, it silences as if it like understands what Lila is saying. And then Brent rolls over immediately after and falls the fuck back to sleep. Lila does eventually fall back to sleep. And when she wakes up the next day, her body is exhausted because obviously she didn't really actually sleep. Brent, by the way, still fucking sleeping, clutching his goddamn phone and also his dick because obviously everything out there did not make him any less horny. She gets out of the tent and puts her hiking boots back on, and she looks around and sees a branch that had been thrown towards them last night. But then she sees a tiny little stack of like 3 little river stones, which was like a gift, which is cute. Brent does eventually wake up and
the when you go up hiking.
Yes, and, and you make the little pile.
Yes, it's exactly like that.
It's cute. Brent does eventually wake up and he like comes up behind her, causing her to jump a little bit, asking for coffee. And she reminds him that he did not bring the stove and
that was on the list.
And she goes, look, I need to pee. You figure this shit out. Also, I need to go look at the tracks before like light starts to shift and try to catch some prints, and reminds him that this is her job. And without her job, she cannot pay their bills. He tells her not to go too far because they don't know if that thing is still out there. And Lila, whatever, opens up her journal and just starts to go over everything that's been happening. She's just trying to keep track of like the different things happening. She does like skip over like some like little weird instances just because she's trying to keep it super scientific-y. And after she comes back, Brent still hasn't fucking figured out how to start a fire. And Lila ends up doing it. You know what? Moral of the story, women are awesome. Men are useless. After she enjoys her morning coffee, she goes to the river alone, rinses out her mug, and she realizes that all the stones that had been thrown at them had come from the river. Brent comes down to tell her that they need to leave, and she says, we're not leaving yet. Like,
bro, just
fuck?
leave.
Yeah, and deep down she knows that she should be more rattled about everything. Yeah. But she just wasn't. Brent just asked Lila why they're staying there any longer because, like, rocks don't fly by themselves. Right, exactly, you idiot. I know his phone. I know his like phone and shit is dying in his battery pack, but who cares? It's also her job. Like, she's paying your damn bills. Shut the fuck up. And he even said like something was outside the tent, but again, she's there for work. She goes back down to the river, and the prints are still there, but now there's newer prints, and they're bigger. And Brent says, "Oh."
They're different.
Those are different. And Lila agrees they're not dinosaur tracks and they are fresh because now
And
whatever.
again, she has this inkling of she kind of knows what it is.
Yeah. Whatever was there wanted her to know it was there. Now Brent's freaking out even some more, saying like, okay, so maybe it's like a prankster with big fake feet. Obviously it's not. They spend most of their day arguing about whether or not they should stay. Lila wanted, obviously, to stay. Brent didn't because, you know, he's a pussy. And, sorry. But also...
No,
yeah.
I think he's more of like a penis because...
That is true. His phone ends up being like officially dead by the time night comes over. And even the tent, she says, like, looks tired, which, considering he fucked up building this tent, but everyone is exhausted. They're all exhausted. So they eat dinner and then the rock throwing starts again. And it's just, again, still at Brent or near Brent. And finally, Brent just fucking has it and just goes into the tent because he's so sick of this shit. Night comes.
You guys, I'm going home.
Right? Night happens and the first tug on the tent happens again at like 10 p.m. Not long after Lila crawls into her own sleeping bag. Brent, of course, freaks out, saying whatever it is trying to grab them, shoves her closer to the zipper.
I sacrifice
as
you.
if he's trying to basically make her protect them and sacrifice her. The second tug on the tent comes harder, and even the support poles like bend. Then Brent shrieks and fucking... his knee catches her in the ribs, and then he elbows her, and basically, I'm pretty sure he broke her nose.
So she thinks he might have it.
Because it's been bleeding.
It's not actually broken, but it feels like he does in the moment.
Because he's a fucking idiot. Which,
She
what
heard
the
the
fuck?
crunch. It's bleeding.
Yeah, and because of all of this, the tent actually collapses. And then...
he's flailing around like a fucker.
Yeah, and then they hear a rumble, and it makes Brent stop. And then Brent whimpers and Lila freezes because obviously like shit. And she feels the tent start to pull away from her body and she feels something warm graze the side of her hip and she realizes they're really big fingertips. But just as quickly as that touch started, it went away. And Lila had to hold herself back from whimpering. Brent finally was like, dude, we fucking need to leave. But before he can even finish his sentence, another rock hits him in the side of the head. And he just starts like muttering to himself. And all Lila can think about is that something touched her and touched the tent and then hit her boyfriend with a rock when her boyfriend tried to touch her. And her gut made her want to follow whatever it was into the trees. Could it not be me? I wouldn't. I don't do nighttime darkness. No, thank you. Yeah. And she wrote 5 words in the margin of her notes, which just said, I think I've been claimed. Brent is the one who cracks first, obviously, because he's pacing around the campsite and he says, they're leaving tomorrow at sunrise. There's going to be no more of this. Lila obviously doesn't want to leave, and the knocks continue late into the night. And unlike the other nights where it was clearly multiple creatures, tonight it was just evident it was just the one. Brent finally pulls his sleeping bag out of the destroyed tent and tries to curl up beside Lila, and Lila's like, can I help you with something?
Let's cuddle for warmth.
Yeah, he's like, we should just share some body heat. And she just thinks like, once upon a time.
You just fucked up my nose and my ribs, and I already didn't want anything to do with you, and now I really want to just punch you in the balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you want to cuddle for warmth?
Right? I mean, at one point in her life, she did think he was incredibly attractive. So he was a lawyer. They moved in together just before the pandemic, and he lost his job during the pandemic. But then he also started watching and listening to a lot of alpha male, like Andrew Tate bullshit kind of stuff. And one day he just decided he wanted to start a vlog channel. So this man,
he has to be like his other alpha bros. He's one of them, duh.
Right? After that, she just started watching the person she loved start to disappear, and now he's just a douchebag. She tells him that she's all set, and he's whining, wanting to like move this on, and instead, not a rock, a massive tree branch is like javelined through the air and lands just on the other side of him. Brent's just like, what the fuck? And you know what? He's gonna
branch nowhere.
Brent is going to confront it. So he grabs a flashlight.
Well, because he was so close to Lila, and the branch basically was like, here's Johnny, and like almost took him out, being like, get the fuck away from her.
Yeah. Yep. So he's just like, if you want me so bad, come and find me.
It was
and
clearly targeted
heads
for
off
him.
into the trees. She does not bother to follow him at all. She sits alone.
And I walk alone.
And she just decides she no longer gives a shit. She cleans up the blood off of her face, and for the first time in years, she feels awake. The creature that's out there just makes her feel alive because the creature saw her as like her and not just like a scientist or like Data or like all this other stuff. So she decides she's
assumes.
Gonna, yeah, you know, why not? So she heads down to the river.
At this point.
I mean, at this point, I'd fantasize about getting the fuck out anyways. So she heads down to the river and she hears a rustle happening on the other side. And there it is, just two amber orbs. She stands up and just smiles at it, which is creepy. And they just stare at each other. And then he steps out of the woods and it is Bigfoot. He doesn't cross the river just yet. And she's just trying to calm herself down.
She's just smiling at it.
But she realizes, right? But she also realizes that little feeling she feels in her stomach is not like upset feeling. She's feeling really horny. And she knows that she should run, but she really doesn't want to. And now Bigfoot steps through the water and...
I'm going to assume that this girl is white. I don't think it explicitly said, but I'm going to assume that this girl is white.
Yeah, this is
Both
this is literally what a white person would do.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. This is the kind of white I don't want to be. But it probably also is the kind of white that I am because I too would be intrigued enough to want to fuck Bigfoot. Okay. So just saying.
You only live once.
YOLO.
It makes so much sense now.
It really does, yeah. So he steps through the water and goes to her side of the river. And up close, he is like sculptural and ancient. He extends a hand between the two of them and she grabs it and he's just watching her, waiting for her to get her bearings and adjust. She asks if he can understand her and he technically can, yes.
He nods. He just nods at her.
And she asks if she can ask him questions and he nods. She's like, have you been throwing the rocks? Yeah.
He nods. That's all he does. He nods.
If he was the one outside the tent, he nods. If he destroyed the tent, also, yes, he nods. And then asks for his name. And he ends up dragging her towards camp and, like, basically shows her the ash of the fire. His name is Ash.
Weird.
She tells him that her name is Lila. And his hand is splayed across her chest because he taps on her chest. And he says her name out loud. Calls her Lila. That's how I picture it too. And she is getting turned on by Bigfoot. And then he calls her his mate. And that word scares her a little bit. Not because of him being this massive dude, but it's just kind of like a shock to her. Like she's trying to think of something like that could actually exist.
Really has blamed me.
Right? Everything just, it feels so right, and she feels chosen and not like spared by accident. And she steps into him and bridges the gap between the two of them, and he picks her up and carries her bridal style into the trees.
Just swoop. Okay, you're mine now. Bye.
Okay, I'd be like, okay,
Which
bye.
Makes me think, why have we never read a Tarzan book before?
I don't know.
You know,
I think that's where I wanted to go when we did Caveman, but we didn't get that.
I know. I really wanted
This is what I wanted.
Yes, I really wanted that Neanderthal, and Crystal, you did not give me Neanderthal.
I'm sorry. I didn't think about it, okay? She does not know how long she clings to him, and they go deep into the forest, and it finally opens up, and there's like a warm stream, and he carries her into it so they can go to the other side. And they come upon a meadow, and it is beautiful. And Ash carries her. This is the second episode that we've sung Adele in.
Oh, yeah? He carries her bridal style into the meadow for all her dreams to come true. I'm done now.
Okay. So he carries her to the center of the meadow, and she realizes this is not just a clearing. It's like his home. This is where this man lives. And he lowers his hands.
Super confusing.
Yeah, why does he live in a meadow? And then
and we'll get there, but then he brings her somewhere else where his bed is. Like totally different location.
Girl.
IDK man, my BFF Jill.
I don't know. Don't care enough. He's Bigfoot.
That's all that matters.
He lowers her down, his hands across her stomach, and then he starts to explore her body. He calls her his mate again. She agrees. He wants to like continue exploring her. And she's like, yeah. And then he rips her jacket from her rips her jacket from her body, and as soon as her nipples are exposed, Ash gets on his knees and buries his face into her chest. Mind you, this thing is like 7-8 feet tall. Like, it's Bigfoot. I don't need to explain this to you. It's Bigfoot. She doesn't even think she's ever been so turned on in her entire life. But here she is. She takes off her belt because he was getting a little frustrated trying to get her belt. He couldn't fucking figure it out. And she looks over his body.
Poor Bigfoot. Never seen a belt before.
No, but she looks over his body and sees his giant, thick, huge cock. So well, just like the tip of it, too.
Totally okay.
The tip of it alone is like terrifyingly huge, which is what we wanted, by the way. Then her pants are gone. And then he eats her out, and she orgasms so hard. He also bites the inside of her thigh. And before she has a chance to understand what the fuck just happened, she's being flipped over onto her stomach, and he grabs her and pulls her hips up into the air. She's a little nervous because she saw how big he was earlier. And I just have to say, this is a very wild position to start with a gigantic dick like that. Like, yes, do I want my guts rearranged? Absolutely.
You have to consider that this is probably natural mating position.
Correct. Yes, I'm just saying.
He doesn't. The poor little himbo doesn't know any better. He's never even like taken a belt off a person.
I know. Yeah.
Which is totally understandable. He lives in the woods.
Yeah. So just the tip of him was huge, and she's not ready for this. But he eases himself in, and then
so many questions.
And then she just decides to slam her hips back, and it feels really good.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. And
after she's done screaming.
Yeah, they fuck. And then afterwards, she feels like this is just not enough. And she straddles him and then fucks herself on him. And she can feel him bulging through her stomach. And then we got some of my favorite line of this whole book is that she's got buckets of cum coming out of her. We got buckets.
Get the pails. Get the pails ready.
We haven't had buckets of cum in so long.
No. So it's just a tragedy, honestly.
Yeah. So buckets of cum come pouring out of her, and her body aches. Everything is so sore, and eventually she gets the strength to get up, and she realizes that Brent never managed to make her feel the way that Ash does. And for a moment, she starts to whine when Ash picks her up.
The bar is fucking on the floor.
The bar, yeah. It's in hell, man. It's in hell. She whines because he picks her back up and he starts bringing her closer to the forest, and she asks if he's taking her back, but he shakes his head. No, he's taking her to a brook.
To his nest.
He starts cleaning her up and making her drink the water, and like he calls her mate again, and she just wants to start crying, and then he carries her further into the trees to another small clearing.
To his nest.
And he gives her soap berries, which was interesting because then that just reminded me of Ice Planet Barbarians.
Yeah. I know it's a real thing, but you don't see him very often.
I got Ice Planet Barbarian, but it was cute.
Me too.
And then for the first time in a really long time, she just sleeps, and she goes to sleep easily. And she wakes up to the sounds of birds chirping. Chirp, chirp. Sorry. And Ash is still there,
She's still awake.
obviously. I mean, okay, I guess when the bar is on the floor with Brent, the man still being there when you wake up is kind of nice.
Well, right. And she doesn't know. What if this is just his thing and he finds
Yeah.
campers and which
Yeah.
again, I have so many questions.
I do too, right? But yes, so he leaves, he grabs more berries to clean her up again, and she takes her time like bathing. He also brings her tattered clothes from the night before and her field journal, and she grabs everything and gets dressed, and he guides her back to the meadow. He then stops. He doesn't say hold on, but he like mimes it, and he turns around and she's just thinking like, of all the other men she has dated, Ash has only said one word to her. Lies. He said her name. So he said 2 words to her. But anyways, besides
I also
the point,
had a problem with that.
I think she's just forgetting about the name thing. And like
As an actual
realistically,
word.
I
Right.
get it.
Yeah.
We're just being nitpicky and annoying about it.
That is
But
what we do.
anyways, but he just says all of one word to her, but he makes her feel all of these things. When he's back, he's carrying a freshly killed deer so that they can cut up the deer and she can eat. Crazy. No, thank you.
He also brings her like logs so she can
Yes.
do it over the fire because he eats his raw, but
Yeah, no,
knows
they-
that she eats.
Again, it's more Ice Planet-y too, because like,
Mhm.
anyways,
Yep.
after they finish eating, they do go back to the campsite, and it's clear that raccoons, now actual raccoons,
Have gotten into the
and
campsite.
scavengers have gotten there because everything is fucking everywhere. And then out of nowhere, fucking
Which
Brent,
why did he bring her back?
I don't,
Like,
bitch,
is
I
he
don't
returning
know.
her? Like, I just
don't
have so many
know.
questions. But yes, this is probably one of the best parts. Sorry, continue.
No, it's okay. Fucking Brent is there. And he's
Well,
got,
he
hold
bursts
on.
out of the
So-
trees.
He's caked in mud. He clearly like tried to fit in
Had an
with the
ordeal.
surroundings. And he doesn't even see Bigfoot at first. And he's just like going off about how like the forest tested him.
He's just
and,
returning
like,
to the camp, like, and not even like he's just assuming that Lila's there waiting for him.
It's just so funny. And
But
it's so
he's freaking
insane.
got this like this bark crown on his head because he is king of the forest. It gave Where the Wild Things Are
Yeah.
vibes, where he thought like he's a little kid and he's just like, I am the king of
Oh
the
my god,
forest."
it's so funny. Like, and then
Yeah,
he
me
does,
more.
and then all of a sudden,
Like
he
he stops his
freezes,
whole like
and
about
he's-
his ordeals and his trial, and then
he
sees-
freezes and sees Bigfoot. Lila starts to
Lila
laugh,
hit, like,
though, because
behind
she
him.
thinks this is fucking hysterical. But then,
Well, because Bigfoot like literally just like swooped her around behind him like to protect her from the weird human.
yeah, dude, it's just so funny. But then he does the alpha male asshole shit and he starts insulting her, calls her a slut, saying that he knew that she was pathetic, but this really? And he didn't like really get to talk
monster?
too much though, because then the funniest shit happens where Ash clicks her on his
So basically Ash walks up and he turns into the Hulk and lifts this man up in that scene like the Hulk, and he goes side 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 side.
and then he whips him into
I have no idea how fucking Brent got up after that, because when the Hulk did it, pretty sure that man was dead. And it's even like, hey, after that superhero movie, yeah, it's literally that.
It's so funny.
Doom, doom.
And it was just the like wind up and throw him through the forest. Just so you know, Lila doesn't actually know if he stays alive or not.
Well, he's alive after that, but she doesn't know what happens to him when
Oh,
he
yeah.
comes off.
But it's fine. So, and then her forest
fine.
adventures come to an end. But the week after she returns back to her apartment, the apartment itself just feels so small. She ends up resigning from her job.
I
And
have so many
guess
questions.
Well, I think just like everything, she just kind of felt like,
But there was nothing on page. And
I'm aware.
Like, right. So
I'm
many
aware.
questions.
but
I
then
can assume plenty of things. but-
jobs for the National Park Service pop up in the exact area that she had met Ash.
Imagine that.
And guess what? She takes it. And then we have an afterword, which is just an epilogue. And she gets regular nightly visits from Ash on her job. But then a vehicle approaches and two men get out of it. And they hand
Secret
her
agents.
a confidential envelope and tell her to answer when she's called. And it's for the Paranormal Intimacy and Cryptid Affairs Division. And I'm going to be honest, I really want to read more because now I need to know.
That's what I mean. Like it just ended and we
I
don't
wasn't
have anything
expecting
next.
that.
And it doesn't seem like it's a continuation of the next book. It's about a different creature. So I just have so many questions. Is this a spin-off of another series? And I just have so many questions.
Yeah.
Like I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Can you
Can you
show?
show me?
Cool. Who is your favorite character?
Welp, not many to choose from, but I'm gonna say probably Ash. But I wish he talked. I wish we had in his head.
I do
wish
too.
anything.
Okay, actually, I'm torn on that because he is
Okay, he doesn't have to talk,
because he is.
but I
Bigfoot.
wish we had more.
Yes, I will also say Ash. It's simply
Simply
because
the best.
he flung him in the air and
Yeah,
threw Ash,
pretty.
threw Brent across the force. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, least favorite character, obviously Brent.
Obviously, Brent.
I also would say maybe the park rangers should warn people a little bit more.
He didn't know.
I understand that, but like,
He was just doing what he could. He didn't know.
yeah, fine. But
It's
yes,
not like he's ever had an encounter. He just has the stories from what he's told by other people.
fair. So Brent,
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
So Amazon gives this a 4.2, Goodreads a 4.0, and Storygraph a 3.93.
What did you rate it?
I was gonna go with like a 3.5. I was gonna go a little higher. I wasn't sure. I think just because I do want a little bit more. And honestly, I had a higher rating before we started this, and then like it kind of changed a little bit as we talked about it. I had a great
I think
time.
my rating didn't change.
Mhm.
I had a great time. I had a great time. Fantastic. I rated it 3.75 because it was basically a
I
four
almost
for
did that.
me. But again, I wanted more, and 80% of the book was the Brent show.
Yeah.
And if it's about the Bigfoot romance, I wanted that.
Yeah.
I get that we had to have the Brent show on
I think
some
that if it
level,
was like,
but we needed that.
if it was longer, I think.
Right. And we actually got some of
Yeah.
yes, then it would have been great. But that was my
He
problem.
did fuck the shit out of her,
Like,
and
the
there was buckets
ratio?
of cum.
Yes.
Sorry. The buckets of cum was just so funny. It was great. Love
Well,
that for
on
me.
that note.
On that note, it was almost a one-handed read. It was
Ah.
it was close. I think if we had gotten like one more
I
scene,
wish we had another scene.
I think that would have pushed it over into a one-handed if we had just one more scene. Just one more.
Okay.
Yes, for you? Oh, look at that.
I was into it. Wish we had more. Absolutely.
I do too.
But
Yeah.
The one we
That
had
was
was
good. That was good. That was good.
We definitely reread it.
Yeah, it was really good. Peppers.
Ooh, well, we only had the one scene.
Mm-hmm.
The
The problem is the scene was really good. I don't know. So I want to go like almost into a jalapeno, but jalapeno is multiple sces though.
right. So
Like
yeah,
a poblano
So
and a half.
it was a poblano. If I'm being because it was just one scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a poblano, spice level.
I would survive. I'd have a great time.
I also would survive.
My vagina wouldn't survive though.
Oh,
Probably.
me either. I already got problems.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking too, after I read this, I was like, you know what I don't think we've read is a Mothman book.
Oh, I have. I don't know if we have together.
I don't think
but
we
I
have together on
because
here.
of reading them. With is it Love Lights that's Mothman?
Oh, yes. So I have read that
And
one, but like
Not
podcast
only
wise, we
that,
haven't read one.
but after the Milkman or whatever book, there was a Mothman one on that too. So I've read.
We
I
just
wouldn't
haven't for the
mind covering, but
podcast.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So,
have all kinds of categories of monsters.
welcome to Monster March, babies.
Monstrous March. Next time, we're reading about an alien Spider-Man. Not Spider-Man like this was the Hulk.
Like
But
a
I mean,
spider.
look, we're connecting it because this was Hulk, and next we're doing the Spider-Man.
Love that
Does
for us.
whatever a spider pig does.
Okay, yeah. Solid love that.
See you next
And-
time. Make sure to keep reading.
And keep it smutty. The fuck?
I don't know.
Let me read you the description of the book because it is a special.
Did you not just do that?
I read the title.
Oh, it was long.
You're muted.
Probably for the best. 'Cause I was talking about medicating myself.
The Rangers. Great monologue you had there for a second because you were muted.
Sorry, babe. Can't hold anything. I'm holding
Mute
my phone.
check 10. Sorry, babe.
Sorry, babe. Hold my phone.
Hold my beer. Just kidding.
I gotta go hold my wings. Hold on.
Delilah. Not Delilah. Why does it say Delilah?
Lila.
Hey there, Delilah. Sorry.
The monster, jab and hook, him a rock ya. Think you invincible, he know a drop ya. Knock ya, mash your body and chop ya. Knock out